Hi guys, welcome to today's trade recap. We're going to go over today's trade. It's a 1 to 1.9 and I'll show you guys how I changed. I sort of moved around the stop loss a little bit, so it's around a 1 to 2, but yeah, let's go over the analysis. So basically here on the daily, we can see this is the Monday candle right here. It's Monday right now. The previous day, on Friday, we closed very bullish here. We can see that. And there's really no daily fair value gap or anything. So on this Monday, I'm expecting it to create a daily fair value gap here. You can see we're starting to create that one. So I'm not really expecting Monday to go down much. And another thing is we have this daily bearish fair value gap right here that just got disrespected because of this. So now my next draw on liquidity is actually up here. And that's my overall like high time frame narrative. Like we have this drawn liquidity, we have this being disrespected, and we have possibly a daily fair value gap here getting created, which is why I am more bullish for today. Now going to the 4 hour, we can also see that we have this 4 hour fair value gap right here. And because there's nothing on the daily, so on the 4 hour we need to use something to frame our trade. Right, either 4 hour or 1 hour. So we can see 4 hour, we have this fair value gap right here, and we also have this SMT created right here. This is that 1 a.m. candle, New York time. So when it was this candle right here, you can see that we respected this 4 hour fair value gap. So since we respected it, I'm expecting this 4 hour fair value gap to hold and for me to be able to use that fair value gap to frame my trade. On the 1 hour, we can see there's actually not a change in state of delivery and no 1 hour fair value gap or anything. So there's actually nothing on the 1 hour. This is the 4 hour and this is that daily bearish fair value gap that got disrespected. So on the 1 hour, there's actually nothing to frame our trade. So what I relied on is just the fact that there is this like stacked highs right here, which is basically a low resistance liquidity run or an inducement range, which I've talked about quite a few times before on my channel. Inducement ranges, how it's just stacked highs, which means that price is likely to run them out, and how all these, it's like if you just look at it, it's more likely to go up than to go down just based on the fact that there's stacked highs, and also based on the fact that we also have all this narrative. So for me, my bias going on for today specifically is to run out this daily high. But in terms of my trade, I just had a take profit here because of this fair value gap. But yeah, overall, I do expect it to run out that high. So after we tapped into that 4 hour, I continued looking. I want to make sure that every single 1 hour candle will respect this 4 hour candle. And at 2 a.m., you see that we formed this SMT right here with GU. And then going down to the 5 minute, after that, basically at 2 a.m., you can start hunting for trades. So I started looking. And we see here that after 2, we got this bearish fair value gap right here that got ran through. And I was honestly thinking of entering here within this range, but you can see that there is actually nothing here. There's no fair value gaps, there's nothing. You can enter here, I guess, on this inverse here, but it's not really my style to enter something where you've already went up so much and for it to come all the way back down. Like I don't really like that. So yeah, I didn't enter here, and that's something that I think I did well, is not giving in to the urge to enter during this range at 2, because this is still the kill zone. But yeah, it just doesn't look like what I usually like to enter off of. So next I see that we have this bearish fair value gap here created, and we see that we go down, but we didn't take out this low because we formed an SMT with GU. So GU at that time at 3 went down and took out the 2 a.m. low. We have this inverse here, and what I wanted was just for it to close above the inverse. As long as we make this an inverse, I'm okay to enter, because I know that this is already a big range, and if I wait for it to go up and for it to create a fair value gap, it might be too late. As long as this creates an inverse, we already got a market structure shift here, and if we create an inverse, it will likely have a CSD anyways, which it did. So we have a 5 minute CSD right here, and we already have a 5 minute break of structure already here. So either way, this is already, it was just about getting in at the entry. So I was just looking for something to like get me in the trade. When this candle closed, I basically just entered right there, and I had my stops initially my trade was something like this. My stops below this candle here, covering this this candle, and then giving it a bit of breathing room because it could come back to test this fair value gap or this inverse. And then initially it was just like a strict 1 to 2 like that, something like that. But the reason why I moved it was because I wanted to target this high instead of the fair value gap. Remember, there was a 1 hour fair value gap there. I wanted to target this high because there was like relative equal highs here, so I thought it would just be much easier for me to target these highs, especially since Asian session high is around here, so it's already pretty high in premium. So I just thought it would be more better to target somewhere around there. So in order for me to keep my risk to reward consistent at 1 to 2, I waited. When I moved that, the price was already somewhere around there, and I just thought it would be okay for me to move my stop loss up a little bit because it already tested this fair value gap by the time that I moved that. So we already tested this fair value gap, so I don't really need to like take too much consideration into waiting for it to retest into that anymore. So that was pretty much this trade. It was around like 1 to 8-ish risk to reward. The main thing for this trade is that there was a good narrative around it, and I waited for a proper entry. A possible better entry could have been to wait for it to retest into this fair value gap, but like I said, since it already created it, waiting for this to come back down is just like a few pips difference, so it wouldn't really be that much of a difference, to be honest. For me, for this trade, I was like willing to take a lower risk to reward just to be able to be in on this trade because we already have such a big move upwards, and because we already have momentum, and we already have a clear draw on liquidity lining up on pretty much all time frames. So yeah, that's that for this trade, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.